Welcome back to my channel. I'm the Young and Free Retiree. I retired at the wonderful age of 38 after working nonstop since 13 years old and never making more than 75K annually. And I'm here to show you guys that retirement is possible, even in today's chaotic and inflated economy. It's possible, you guys. Living proof. I'm currently 4 years into the retirement phase of my life. And in today's video, I want to share with you guys three of the most shocking and surprising things I've learned during my short retirement. Stay tuned for the last one because it may surprise you guys. It definitely caught me off guard, big time. Now, before I dive into those three things, I want to share a little bit about myself. I'm a very free spirited and kind of impulsive person who doesn't really care much for structure, especially when it comes to my free time. The only time I really care for structure is with my finances. Now, in that department, I desire and prioritize structure. Everywhere else, not so much. I'm not a planner, except when it came to preparing for retirement, hence why I'm retired young. Now, that impulsive side of me is why a lot of my traveling, especially my cruises, are booked very last minute. I rarely arrive anywhere on time, with airports being the exception. And even then, I'm barely making my way through security as my gate is midway through boarding. So take it for what it's worth. Throughout all my traveling, and I've traveled in various countries, I'm about 99% on making flights. I've never really missed a flight. Now, that may sound very surprising for someone who served 20 years in the military like myself, but it's true, you guys. I survived the military because of God's good graces, my strong ability to adapt to any situation that was given to me by my loving mom who raised six of us almost solo dolo. Thanks, Mom. I love you. And this is coming from your favorite. And also because of my father, who blessed me with the ability of a strong mental fortitude. I love you, Dad. Yes, sir. Now, everyone may think that retirement is all sunshine and rainbows. But let me be the first to tell you guys, it is not. And this is coming from someone who financially prepared for retirement for over 10 plus years. You still have days where you're afflicted by laziness, sadness, boredom, isolation, and many other things. Just because you possess the freedom to do whatever you choose with your time because you're in retirement, it doesn't make you immune to any of these things. In retirement, finances play a major role, obviously. And if you don't have money coming in, it's going to make retirement very, very tough. And it's not going to be the best time in your life, even though you're not working. It might be a little miserable. And things that can really affect your retirement financially are things like inflation, unexpected medical bills, fluctuation in monthly expenses. All that can really impact your quality of life during retirement. Now, I haven't had many financial shockers during my 4 year retirement, but there was one shocking moment financially that caused me to learn something about myself. And so the first of three things that I've learned, it kind of ties into this financially shocking moment. And it happened about 2 years into my retirement when I opened a letter, and that letter read, "Hey, brother, you owe me some taxes." It was from Uncle Sam. I I fumbled the bag with that one. And keep in mind, I'm someone who doesn't open mail very often, so that letter had probably been there for like a year. Who knows how long? It was a while. Now, just to give you guys a little bit of backstory about me, I'm someone who self-taught when it comes to finances. I I learned a lot of my things financially. All my financial literacy is just pretty much like through self-motivation. I desired to learn myself, even when it came about retirement and things of that nature, TSP, 401ks, IRAs, conversion ladders. I've That's all just been self-education through Google, YouTube, books. Even went through a Dave Ramsey's Peace University when I started out early in my financial journey. And so a lot of it's just self-education. Yeah, I never, it never dawned on me. The reason why I owed taxes because I never filed my taxes on time. For for ever since I was in the military, I've always been on the plus side. I've never owed. And so throughout my 20 years in the military, I never filed on time. Because honestly, if you don't owe, you don't have to file on time. So, in anyways, that was my, you know, understanding of it. And I never was penalized. And plus, being in the military, you're given all kind of exemptions and exceptions, especially when it comes to if you don't file on time. So I never was penalized or fined. So I assume that as long as you're in the green and you don't owe, it's okay to file late or never file on time. And so I kept that same habit going into retirement. And the one thing that I didn't realize was that when I started receiving my pension, Uncle Sam hadn't tapped that yet. He hadn't dipped his hands and got his cut. And so for the 2 years, I didn't file on time. And so I was just receiving my pension and not thinking that, oh, I need to file on time for taxes. In my mind, I'm still thinking like, I'm good. I'll be okay. When I read that letter, it was a comment. And so what I learned in that moment is that, and it sounds so simple. I know being self-educated and everything financially, it was just something that I completely overlooked. Now it makes sense that it's brought to my attention that, hey, you have to still pay taxes. And if you don't, you're gonna owe. And in that moment when I learned was that, yeah, you you gotta file on time when you're in retirement. Otherwise, you're gonna get hit with a fat bill. And so I was not the happiest to open that letter and see that comment in there. Because I owed for 2 years. So yeah, that was number one. That was one of the one of the shocking moments and something that I really learned was that you have to file your taxes on time. Because if you receive it, in my case, I receive a pension, so therefore the government never got their cut. And you know what happens when they don't get their cut? They don't care who you are, they send them people after you. Now, the second thing that I encountered and learned, it happened about a year into retirement. And it was more so on the physical side of things and not so much the financially side of things. And what ended up happening was in that first year of retirement, for some reason, I started to encounter a lot of health related issues, more than norm because in my past 20 years in the military, I was someone that never encountered hardly any health issues. I rarely ever got sick. I played ball 24/7. I was highly active. I passed all my annual PT test, physical fitness test with like high 90s. So I only tested once a year. I was a highly active person and like in great shape. Like I'm telling you, hardly ever got sick. And in that first year of retirement, something happened. I don't know what was going on with my body, but it was just a huge adjustment. I don't know if it was because I had came from living over in the overseas environment for so long and eating, the food that's a little bit healthier and it's not as processed and transitioning back over here to the States. But in that first year, my body went through a myriad of issues that was just, and it was an eye-opening experience for me because what I learned in that moment was that I started to realize that I'm not a spring chicken anymore. To say it, you know, there there are there are vulnerabilities in my armor. And I started to realize that within that first year that I'm not invulnerable. Because for the longest I really did think I was like, I didn't experience a lot of those things that people experience in like when they're 30s, like with the aching bones and the cracking knees and the hurt back and just the injuries from just waking up after not doing anything. I didn't experience any of that in my 30s hardly. And so going into it as I was approaching 40, that's when it started to hit me in that first year of retirement. And I had just come to the self realization like how important it is you have to listen to your body. Like you really do. And it's so important. Like you have to incorporate things in a day to day basis, like health and your day to day regimen of exercise, even a small thing, how many steps you're taking, all that has to be taken in consideration, even in retirement. And that's why, even things like this, like that's why you got to be, you know, be mindful. So I started incorporating things like drinking fresh juices, starting to incorporate more vitamins into my day to day. Because before that, prior to retiring, I never took vitamins. Never. I rarely ever ate fruit. Really. Like my best friend to this day, who lives in Texas, married to my other best friend, he will tell you he knew me from my first years in the military. He's like, I don't recall that guy ever eating fruit. I don't even recall myself eating fruit. Now I eat fruit like 25/8 or whatever they say, like 24/7, whatever. I eat it constantly. And that's one of the things I learned is that you have to take care of your body. Because when you retire young, you have a lot of time. And so it's so easy to become prone to just laying around, not doing nothing. Even though you may appear fit to everyone else because of your slim build, you know, you're out of shape. Everyone else may think you're in shape because you're slim at 40. That doesn't necessarily mean you're in shape. So a lot of people need to stop, you know, to some degree thinking that about a lot of slim people. We just as out of shape as the other, you know, the fat person next to us. We are. Now this third one, y'all, this the one that really, you know, hit me with a haymaker, caught me completely off guard, and put me on my back. And it was the social isolation that comes with being in retirement. Now, there's not a lot I miss about the military, but one of the main things I miss about the military is the camaraderie. That nothing compares to that camaraderie in the camaraderie in the military. That's a difficult word to say at times, but nothing compares to it. It hits differently. And for me, I knew I would miss it, but I didn't realize the severity and how much it would impact me in my retirement years, especially in the beginning. It's something that's top tier, and I completely undervalued it. I undervalued the camaraderie and how much of a someone that thrives on social interaction, whether it's out and about, whether it's at work, or whatever degree. I didn't realize that about myself. Anytime I was at work, I didn't need coffee, I didn't need tea, I didn't need energy drinks, a monster to fuel me. What fueled me throughout my 20 years in the military was the social interaction piece of it. And when you do something for so long, you don't realize or see the true value in something because you have it. It's so accessible. You have it on a day to day. It's almost like we don't realize the importance of oxygen until we don't have it because it's so plentiful. But when you don't have it, you're like, man, I need some oxygen. If you don't have water, I need that. And for me, that was the equivalent of my social interaction at work. I didn't realize how much it would impact me. And being an extrovert, that really made me oblivious to how much I needed that social interaction on a day-to-day basis. So all that social interaction, it really was my fuel. It was my monster drink. And now in that first year of retirement, and not having it once it was stripped away, it really hit me like a ton of bricks, like how much I needed and valued that social interaction. And the thing about retirement, you guys, especially when you're in your 40s or, your late 30s, is it puts you in a peculiar spot with your peers because you have your peers that are your age, like in their 30s, or maybe some of them even in their late 20s, they're still working. They're still grinding Monday through Friday, working 9 to 5. So while you're in retirement and you have the day and those hours to do whatever, those group of people, they're at work. They're busy. You have no one to hang out with. And now on the opposite side of that, you have the older crowd, that the people that have the time off that are retired, but they're in their 60s. They may be 60, 70 plus. They don't want to hang out. They don't want to go to bars. They don't want to do stuff like that. And not saying I want to go to bars, but you know, it's like your interests don't align. And so when you're there Monday through Friday, trying to wait for your friends and for the few that are in the local area, because for me, I didn't have many friends in the local area. I relocated to a place that I never lived, and I only had like one or two people that I really knew and leaned on. And so Monday through Friday it was boring. It was a little bit depressing to some degree because I was missing that social interaction. I didn't have it. I didn't have any people to engage with physically, to laugh with, to crack jokes with. Um, and that's when I really started to realize, like, man, social interaction is a big piece of me. Like many people will call me a social butterfly, and I get it from my mom. It's just a part of me. I'm a strong extrovert. I like to socialize, and I like smiling and being around people that are good natured. Just that energy. I love it. And so being in retirement, it really puts you in a peculiar state like, wow. It was almost to the point where you start to realize like how important something as interacting with people means so much to you. And for me, that was out of the three, that hit me the hardest. Absolutely. It wasn't the financial piece with the financial aspect with the taxes. It wasn't the health issues. It was the social interaction because though those other two, they're finances, and the other one's physical. That third one, social isolation, for me, was mental. And when it comes to your mental, that, man, that can take a hit, and it's hard to recover from when it hits your mental. Just like with anything else in life. You can go to the gym, you can you can take care of the physical side. Finances, you just scale back a little bit here and there, and you can, overcome whatever expenses or bills that come your way just by not spending so much. But with your mental, that takes a lot of work. And so for me, it took quite some time. And what I had to do was try to figure out what can I incorporate in my day to day that will help me overcome that. And that's why I'm a cruiser, baby. I love cruising. I love traveling. And it's for the reason that's what I had to do. I was in the perfect place to start cruising, and now I love it. It gives me it fulfills me. And another thing that I incorporate when I'm not cruising is helping out the elderly, doing things in the community, assisting the less fortunate. All that gives me a sense of fulfillment that doesn't compare to anything else. And I love it. So those are my three things that really caught me off guard in retirement. So those are my three things, you guys. The taxes from Uncle Sam, learning that you have to file your taxes on time, sir. The second one was the myriad of health issues. Got to take care of your body. You got to listen to your body. Got to take vitamins, sir. You're not a spring chicken. And the third one was the social isolation. I had to surround myself and incorporate things into my day to day where I had so much freedom that could give me that fulfillment. And that's what retirement's all about. It's almost in a sense you're rediscovering yourself, things about you that truly mean the most to you. And I love that journey. And hopefully you guys stick around and stay with me for the rest of this journey. Tell you guys about my mistakes, my successes, my happiness, my love, and my joy. Y'all be good. Always remember God loves you. Take care, put him first in everything you do, and you'll be successful in life. That easy.